A family confirms with News4JAX that the young woman found dead in the Trout River yesterday afternoon was 18-year-old Santeria Williams. Her family tells us that she was reported missing back on Wednesday. News4JAX reporter Bree Isom joins us live. Bree, you spoke to a family member this evening.
The family just wants answers right now. They say that Santeria always told members of her family where she was going, but on Tuesday night she didn't do that. Only 18 years old.
Always smiling, always laughing, protector.
According to family, Ribault High School student Santeria Williams was the woman police found dead on the edge of the Trout River in a North Shore neighborhood Friday afternoon. Green says Williams had been missing since she left her home early Tuesday morning.
It was in the middle of the night. She left with somebody she had to know. We just knew it wasn't right for her to leave on a school night. She put school first.
Green said she left home with only one item.
If Tia was going to leave, Tia would have took a lot more than what she had, just a phone.
She also said the last time she saw Williams was on Monday at a family gathering. 2 days later, Williams was reported missing.
We went out searching, hunting, looking, asking, knocking on doors, and she was in pajamas. She don't go nowhere in pajamas. That's not Terry.
The sheriff's office said there is evidence of foul play and the homicide unit is investigating. There are no suspects and family just wants answers.
To not come home or not even say, hey, I'm okay, that's not her. Terry was a person to tell everybody where she's going.
And now, if you know anything about what happened, you're urged to call the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. I'm reporting live in Jacksonville. Bree Isom, Channel 4, the local station.
Shalom. 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 First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honors, and glories unto YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, HaShem HaKadosh. Double honors to my elders, my apostles of Great Milestone. They're doing it real well. Peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the members of the elect. The elect doing third. Shalom. This is Brother Dawadah from GMS Detroit Camp, coming at you with another video through the spirit and power of YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, HaShem HaKadosh. And today I want to do a video going in on this this teenager that was found dead in Jacksonville, Florida. All right, and it popped up on my feed. And there's a couple things that can be taken away from it. Number one, the woman's name was Santeria. Now, I looked it up. Right? Here. Now, the word Santeria is witchcraft. All right? Santeria is witchcraft. All right? But I wanted to look it up so that, I can read it to you. Santeria, it says, is an African diasporic religion that developed in Cuba during the late 19th century. It arose through a process of syncretism, all right? Because I know I think that means one, S-Y-N. It says the combining of different beliefs and various schools of thought, which is confusion. During the late 19th centuries, it arose through a process of syncretism between the traditional Yoruba religion. Yoruba is a group of, a section, if you will, of Jakes over there in West Africa and Nigeria. Of West Africa, which you got a lot of Jakes over there. The Roman, and that's a cut to people that say, oh, well, you don't have any Jakes in Africa. Well, here it is. You're over here in America saying that you're an Israelite. But where did you come from? Where did you come from before you were on the soils of America? You were over there in Africa. That's where they got the slaves from, the majority of them. See? Don't make any sense, does it? But then when you go deeper, we don't originate in Africa. We actually go back to the land of Israel when you go deeper. Because Jake think the history starts and stops in Africa. No. Your history goes back further than that. That's why the scriptures say Jacob has forgotten their resting place. Your resting place is the land of Israel, not Africa. It says, it arose through a process of syncretism between the traditional Yoruba religion of West Africa, the Roman Catholic form of Christianity, and Spiritism. There is no central. Let's go into this. Spiritism, a branch of spiritualism, is a religion and philosophical doctrine established in France. It's basically witchcraft. Let's hop down. It says, Hippolyte Leon Denisard Revel, who under the pen name Allan Kardec wrote books on the nature, origin, and destiny of spirits and their relation with the corporeal world. Which, corporeal, that means, I think that's bodily. Let's go into it. Yeah, bodily. Okay? In other words, the real world, the planet Earth. So you can understand. Okay? Let's see. So Spiritist philosophy postulates that humans, along with all other living beings, are essentially immortal spirits, which that's true, we are spirits and bodies, that temporarily inhabit physical bodies for several necessary incarnations. That's reincarnation right there. To obtain moral and intellectual improvement. See, they went off right there. Yes, you do have a spirit in you, and the spirit can't be destroyed. Yes, you come back in a body, and you serve out the judgment of whatever it is that you did, whether good or evil, in your past life. That's true. We are spirits and bodies, right? But it isn't to attain moral and intellectual improvement. Because if that were the case, first off, Esau, what about this devil? He hasn't obtained moral improvement. He's still the devil that he once was back in the garden. It says, and then in terms of intellectual improvement, you can still got some. Hey, the scriptures call them fools, base men. They're still out here. They're still out here. They're still fools and they're still base men. So it also asserts that disembodied spirits, through passive or active mediumship, may have beneficent or malevolent influence on the physical world. So, they go off, in other words. All right, just so we can sum it up. All right, they're studying spirits and they don't know the head nor tail of it. Okay? It says there is no central authority in control of Santeria, and much diversity exists among practitioners. Let's just hop down. Let's see. Okay, here it is. It says practitioners. We're just going to skip to some more meat of it. Practitioners, meaning those that follow this witchcraft, Santeria, right? Venerate. What's these words? Which means revere, to show respect for, to show reverence for. The RAWCHAA at altars, either in the home or in the casa, temple, which is run by Santero, which is a priest, or Santeria, priestess. Membership of the casa requires initiation. See, it's witchcraft. Okay? Offerings to the RAWCHAA include fruit, liquor, flowers, and sacrificed animals. See? Witchcraft. Okay? Going into witchcraft, you got to sacrifice an idol to this RAWCHAA, which is their one of their pagan deities. Let's hop up real quick and hop down. It says Santeria is a polytheistic, meaning they believe in multiple gods, and revolves around deities called RAWCHAA. So they worship different gods. So this is paganism. A central ritual is witchcraft. In the Torque de Santo, in which practitioners drum, sing, and dance to encourage an RAWCHAA to possess one of their members. So they want a demon to possess one of their members, and thus communicate with them, communicating with demons, so that you can understand. Several forms of divination are used, including Ifa, to decipher messages from the RAWCHAA. Offerings are also given to the spirits of the dead, which they're in the spirit realm. They're good. They don't care about your offering. With some practitioners identifying as spirit mediums, healing rituals and the preparation of herbal remedies and talisman also play a prominent role. So this is nothing more than witchcraft. Okay? You got our people heavily involved in Santeria, all right, which is their witchcraft, especially over there down there in Haiti. They're heavy into witchcraft, okay? Heavy into witchcraft. So when I saw her name, which her name is actually Santeria, which is witchcraft, I was like, what's going on here? And only the so-called black woman, only she would name her child such a name. Only she. Okay? This is the book of Job, chapter 39 and verse 13. Gavest thou the goodly wings unto the peacocks, or wings and feathers unto the ostrich? The ostrich is a metaphor for the so-called black woman, which leaveth her eggs in the earth and warmeth them in dust, and forgetteth that the foot may crush them. Yeah, ostrich will literally do that. It'll bury its children within the dust of the earth, cover it up with its feet, with its feet to claw at the earth, to shovel the dirt and sand on top of the egg. But then she'll forget where she buried her young. Then as she's walking around looking for it, it'll end up crushing its babies. That's how the so-called black woman is. She's cruel to her children. Or that the wild beast may break them. Yeah, she is hardened against her young ones as though they were not hers. Just look at the so-called black woman in the store. She'll be 1 hour scantily clad, talking loud on the phone, right? And meanwhile, her 3 or 4 year old is 3 hours behind, pushing the cart. And she's cussing them out the whole time, saying, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Her labor is in vain without fear. Here's the point. Because the Heavenly Father hath deprived her of wisdom. Who thinks to name their child Santeria? Witchcraft. Neither hath he imparted to her understanding. There you go. There you go. Now, we just went into the name, right? Her name meaning witchcraft. Now, another thing that didn't make sense is that they didn't mention how she died. They're saying they're still investigating it, but if you find a dead body by a river, something had to have happened. And they're saying there's evidence of foul play, but they didn't get into any specifics. So the question is, what really happened to this young lady? What happened to her? Was there blood? Was there maybe a drug overdose? Nothing. They didn't bring up anything. And how come the woman's mother wasn't the one speaking on the phone? It was the mother, wasn't the father, It's some few holes within this story. All right? And then they didn't mention who this woman in green is, if that's her mother or not. And why wasn't she the one speaking on behalf of her daughter that had died? So it's a few holes in there. But the main part that I wanted to focus on was this comment here. Now, I checked out the comment section. This is the first comment that I saw. It says, this from a man by the name of Antoine Kyle. She looks like a Jake, right? According to his profile picture. It says, take it from a father. We do not know these kids. And that's true. That's true. Because these children, the children nowadays, like you have to say, this is Generation Z. Z is the last letter of the alphabet. This is it. This is it. Okay? This is it. Because the children nowadays, they're monsters. Okay? They disrespect their parents. These children, they put their parents in jail. They shoot at their father. There was a video a few months ago. We had this Jake clapping at his dad. Okay? It says, buying my daughter a phone was one of the worst mistakes I ever made. Yeah, because you giving them a phone is an avenue. It's an avenue to let all types of wickedness in. Hey, like I say, when a woman has a phone, she doesn't need to go outside to gad abroad. She can gad abroad from her actual home through social media. Through social media, she can contact people in Florida. She can contact people in Germany. She can contact people in London, in Peru, in Ecuador, all over the world without even needing to step outside of her house. You see? And you know what these women do when they get 12, 13, they get a little hot, They get on social media and they're looking for some action. And then they end up leaving with someone that they have no business leaving with. And why do you think it's the man that said that? Why do you think that Israelite man said, hey, this is what it is? Well, guess what? The man is the head of the household, whether you like it, understand it or not. And he makes the choices. He makes the wise choices. See? Because a man has a solid shoulder on a solid head on his shoulders. Let's grab this in. Let's grab this out of the Apocrypha. Because if you have a daughter, that's why a lot of times people say, I'd rather have a son than a daughter. You got a daughter, you got to worry about all types of different stuff. You know? And who lets their daughter leave in the pitch darkness? Here it is, it's nighttime, you let your daughter out the house. You know? That's another question. What's going on with those guys? You know? Whether the mother is there or not there, whether it's the auntie that was watching her or not, she's leaving the house and no one's checking her. In PJs at that, y'all just let her walk out? Sirach 7:24. Hast thou daughters? Now this is speaking to the Israelite man. See? Let's hop up. Wow. Let's see. Sirach 7:3. My son, so this is speaking to men, sow not upon the furrows of unrighteousness, and thou shalt not reap them sevenfold. Now let's hop down. It says, verse 19, forgo not a wise and good woman, for her grace is above gold. Now that's rare. It's rare that you find a good woman and a woman with a solid head on her shoulders, that knows left and right, that knows how to cook, how to clean, that knows how to sew, that knows how to take care of children. All right? That'd be considered a wise woman in this day and age, or period. Because why? The wisdom was what? She was instructed on how to conduct herself in the scriptures. All right? From the scriptures. Because her mother and her father taught her, okay, this is what you do, this is what you don't do. And their benchmark was the scriptures. You got to learn how to cook. You got to clean. You got to take care of children. You got to raise the household. That's a wise woman right there. That's the one with the solid head on her shoulders. All right? Not wise as in, oh, she breaking down scriptures, she out there teaching. No. Wise as in she has a mind well instructed. All right? She's been taught from her youth up how to conduct herself and how to teach her children, how to raise her household, taught how to not gad abroad, and why she shouldn't, why, and to not be scantily clad. See? For her grace is above gold. Now let's up down. Verse 23. Hast thou children? This is speaking to the Israelite man. Hast thou children? Instruct them. Instruct them in what? In these scriptures, first and foremost. All right? Because the scriptures is the guideline as to right and wrong. What did the Apostle Paul say in Romans 7? I had not known sin but by the law. See, the law is what shows you what's right and what's wrong. See? Instruct them, first and foremost, in these scriptures. You can, and then secondly, which branches off, instruct them in righteousness. This is what you do, this is what you don't do. Hey, you can't leave the house when it get dark. For your safety, I don't want you out there when it gets dark. That's how it was for me. Hey, we was always told, you better be inside when the street lights come on. You know? Hast thou children, instruct them, and bow down their neck from their youth. Hast thou daughters? Now, why did it single out the daughter? It didn't single out the son. It didn't say, hast thou sons? It says, hast thou daughters? Have a care of their body. Yeah. Because why? That daughter of yours, that's your property. All right? That's your property until she becomes another man's property, which will be her husband's. So you're supposed to have care over their body. You ain't supposed to just let them all. It's dark air. You can go on out there. You know what she's trying to do, more than likely. You know? Hey, you keep them in check. And show not thyself cheerful toward them. Yeah. So you ain't supposed to be in that old daddy's little girl spirit. You're supposed to be, in the words of Apostle Gabar, you're supposed to be like their drill sergeant. Hey, do this, do that. Where you going now? What you doing here? Da da da. And that keeps them in check. You see? Hey, and women know that. Women actually like and respect that. Because if you're too soft to them, they'll even tell you, like, hey, you need to yell at me more. You need to tell me what to do. You need to scream at me. They'll tell you that. And then when they'll tell you, oh, I just want a nice and sweet guy that's just loving and caring, she's lying to you. She wants someone that's going to tell her, hey, this what you do, this what you don't do. That's going to put his foot down. That's what they want. That's what they like. Marry thy daughter. See? Marry thy daughter. So hey, that's why in the ancient world, when she was 12, she was already betrothed. You give her off to someone. That's someone of reputation that she would marry. And so shalt thou perform a weighty matter. That's a heavy matter. But give her to a man of understanding. Yeah, not to Pookie down the street. Give her to a man of understanding. A man with a good, solid head on his shoulders. A man of that knows left from right. But give her to a man of understanding. To the book of Sirach. It's either 25 or 26. Let's see. Yeah. It's like it. Sirach 42 and 9. It says, the father waketh for the daughter when no man knoweth, and the care for her taketh away sleep. When she is young, lest she pass away the flower of her age, and being married, lest she should be hated. Yeah, so when she gets around that time, the father is thinking like, dang, man, I need to marry this girl off. I need to find a suitable husband for her and to marry her off. You know? Here it is, you see on these different shows, they demonized arranged marriages like it's just the wickedest thing in the world. Well, guess what? Those arranged marriages, they actually work. And guess what? The woman, she'll end up loving the man over time. And then two, the man that she would have, he won't be no ninja, no Tyrone from down the street. And then two, that woman, she'll be with one man that her whole life until he dies, and then she marries again. See? Because why? The father selected a man that had a good head on his shoulders, that will be able to provide for his daughter and to instruct her the right way. See? So he's thinking about marrying her off. Why? Because if she's allowed to stay in that house, she's going to freak off on someone. See? And then she's going to lose her value, because a woman's value begins with her virginity. Verse 10, in her virginity, there you go, lest she should be defiled and gotten with child in her father's house. Yeah. So here it is. She's 12 or whatever. She went to the dude next door and she, did the nasty. And then you find out a few months later, while you still trying to figure out, okay, I got to give her to somebody. You see a little stomach on her. See? And having a husband, lest she should misbehave herself. When she is married, lest she should be barren. Keep a sure watch over a shameless daughter. This is talking to the men. Lest she make thee a laughingstock to thine enemies. And we're a laughingstock to our enemies, beginning with the so-called white man. And how are we a laughingstock? Well, they look at our women. Look at the so-called black woman out. Look at the so-called black man's woman out there. Look at her. Because everyone knows the MB is the biggest, what, on the planet. And it's unfortunate, but it's true. And these nations, they know that. Why do you think when that WAP song came out, everyone was talking about it? And guess what they're saying? It was wickedness. And look at how degenerate our people look. Northern and Southern Kingdom. Look how they look in that video. You see? And guess what? They're mocking us. So we've become a laughingstock to thine enemies. They're like, how can we take you seriously? Look at your woman. And a byword in the city, and a reproach among the people, and make thee ashamed before the multitude. Yeah, make thee ashamed among the before the multitude. Yeah. Just imagine if they played that WAP song, all right, on the radio at your job. People be walking, and as they walking, they looking at all the black people kind of funny. See? Why? Because that is shameful. Okay? And that's why that message is written to the man. It says, buy my daughter a phone was one of the worst mistakes I ever made. And you know who mainly pushes for their daughter to have a phone? The woman. The so-called black woman. She'll push for her daughter to have a phone. The father will say, no, I don't want you to have a phone. Mom will be like, yeah, I want you to have a phone. I was watching, what's that Tyler Perry show? Not Meet the Browns, but it's like its counterpart. I forget what it's called. There's a scene where the man, I think his name is CJ, and he has a wife, and he has a daughter and a son. Now the daughter, she was around like 12, 13, and she started wearing makeup. She started wearing lip gloss, right? Which, if you notice, if you have a sister or you have a daughter, they start wearing all that lip gloss and makeup and all that. They start wearing that around 12, 13, you know? But she started throwing on a little lip gloss, and the father said, hey, what's that on your face? What's that? And she's like, oh, it's just a little lip gloss. He like, go upstairs and go take that off. And then she's like, well, mom said I can wear it. And then the mom comes down the steps, and he's like, did you tell, I think the daughter's name was Janine or something. No, that's the wife's name. The wife's name is Janine, I think. But he said, you tell my daughter she could wear a lip gloss? And she was like, yeah, just a little bit, you know, nothing wrong with it. You know? and needless to say, she's a so-called black woman. See? It says, buying my daughter a phone was one of the worst mistakes I ever made. See? Now I see stories like this. And guess what happened at the end of the episode? She realized that, in the middle of the episode, her friend, which always wears makeup, around the same age as their daughter, the parents are out the house. Her friend comes over, and then her friend invites two boys to the house, and he's trying to hop on that little girl. He's trying to get it on with their daughter, you know. And she's all nervous, and she's trying to move away, this, that, and the third. And then out of nowhere, the parents walk in, and they kick the dudes out the house, and then they get on her about it. And then they tell her, like, hey, you shouldn't be wearing that. You know, so she said, no, I'm not going to wear it anymore. And that was basically the end of the episode. So that shows you what? Like they had that show, Father Knows Best. Yeah, Father does know best. It says, buying my daughter a phone was one of the worst mistakes I ever made. Now I see stories like this, and I know my daughter lies to me. Yeah. She'll tell you, she'll be on her phone and, underneath the covers or whatever, you come in the room. Hey, what you doing? What you doing, daughter? What you doing, baby? Oh, nothing. Women love saying that. They're doing nothing. Meanwhile, you can clearly see they're doing something. But they'll tell you nothing. Meaning nothing for you to know. They don't want you to know. What are you doing? Nothing. But clearly you're doing something. You know? She'll say, oh, I'm going to the game with my friends. Meanwhile, she's going over a dude's house. You know? Oh, I'm just going down the street to the store. Then she's gone for an hour and a half. Says, now I see stories like this, and I know my daughter lies to me. Yeah, she'll lie to you straight to your face. It says, hell, her mother lies to me and hides things from me. Wow. Hey, like daughter, like mother. It is the daughter. The daughter is acting just like the mom. The mom was out. She was out and about. You know what I mean by that. And the daughter's the same way. It says, a lot of unnecessary risks are being taken on a daily basis. Yeah. Here it is. She'll have a social media account, and someone slides in her DMs, and she's, oh, you say go where? And she goes there with some random stranger, and she never comes back. Or she'll go with a random stranger, dude end up dealing with her, and then she stays with that guy, and he turns out to be a demon. Then she leaves that guy all broken mentally. Then she goes to another degenerate, and then she just keeps hopping to degenerate to degenerate. Then when she gets 40, 50 years old, then she wants to settle down. It's too late for that. A lot of unnecessary risks are being taken on a daily basis, and bad things will happen if you're not careful. Yeah. And if you're not careful, I mean, if you, the father, if you aren't careful, bad things are going to happen. Being careful is, where you going tonight? Hey, no, you can't go. You can't go. No, you stay home. It's dark. Or they'll be trying to leave the house scantily clad. No, go take that. And you I'm sure you brothers, and you, mainly the brothers. So I'm just going to leave it there. I'm sure you brothers have noticed that there'll be times where your sister, she'll be trying to leave the house scantily clad, and your father or your mother, they'll tell her, hey, go take that off. Put some clothes on. Go cover up. Why? Because they don't know any better. They need that instruction. Because when they get to that age, they're looking to get noticed. They want people to look at them. That's why when they got to that age, they got married off. It says you cannot live other people's lives, but the pain of losing a child will slowly kill the parents also. So what do you have to do? Keep a sure watch over thy daughter. You see? This wouldn't have happened if they didn't let her leave the house. And you know what? When you read the comments, people are saying, preach. So true. So true. So, look at this. Take the phone when they come home. And you know who's number one against that? The so-called black women. You say, hey, I'm taking my daughter's phone as soon as she gets home. What? No, you ain't. But why are you doing that? You know what they're doing on their phones. And you'll see it when you go to these stores. You have the daughter. She head all up into the phone. She's bumping into aisles, bumping into people, bumping into carts. She's too busy texting. And who do you think she's texting? They don't need it once they come home. Well, guess what? They're going to figure out a way around that. They're going to have two phones. They're going to use the computer. They're going to use their tablet. They're going to use different ways to get what they want. It's only for emergencies while you're out. Not to them. Because they're going to figure out a way. Or they'll get a dude that'll buy them a phone so that they can have another phone. That's why ultimately this whole society has to go. Esau's kingdom, his rulership, it all has to go. Because it's very difficult to actually raise a daughter in Babylon, teach her the right way, and keep her mind away from the doctrines, the false philosophies, and the madness of this world. And to keep her on that straight and narrow, and to find someone suitable for her so that she can marry, and then stick with that one person. You know how difficult that is in this society? But if you go overseas, that's more common, much more common. It says then you separate the child from their peers. Their peers is the ones telling them to freak off. Their peers are the ones telling them to freak off. See? That's why this kingdom has to go, and a lot of people are going to go right along with it because they're down for the society. Common sense ain't too common anymore. And don't say she shouldn't go outside because those days are over. This society has to go. Now when your daughter, when she's trying to leave the house, you're actually generally concerned because you don't know if she's going to come back all right. You don't know, hell, you don't even know if she's even going to come back. She'll meet a guy. She's like, oh, I'm running away with him. Either you file a police reports. Meanwhile, she's tucked off at that guy's apartment or in his mother in that guy's mother's basement. Have a house phone. That way you can screen calls, no nasty texts, etc. She's going to figure out a way. This whole kingdom has to go. All right? And it's another thing. The whole 18 thing. Oh, I'm 18. I'm grown. A woman becomes a woman when she reaches puberty. Period. And even if a woman is so-called grown, she's 18, She's supposed to have a man that's supposed to tell her what to do. And that's what the scriptures say. These people get mad and emotional about it, but that's what the Bible says. You know? What the Bible says. Okay? Sirach 36:24. He that getteth a wife begetteth a possession. So the woman is your possession. She's your property. Okay? And for you few women that are actually watching, your man is your property. It's like it. I'll say it. It's one that slippeth with the tongue, but not with his heart. For you so-called, it's like it. For you few women that are watching, you are the property, the possession of your man, your husband. All right? If you don't have a husband, well, you're the possession of your father until you get married off. Which sex is marriage. Okay? So there ain't no riding the cock carousel, in the words of Elder Malcolm. All right? And yes, your man is over you. So you do what he says. Okay? You do what your man says. As long as he's telling you the right thing, of course. So you got wicked jakes, you know. But for the most part, you do what he says. He that getteth the wife begetteth the possession. So when he asks you, where are you going? What are you doing? This, that, and the third. He's asking because you are his possession. And he doesn't want his possession spoiled. A help like unto himself and a pillar of rest. And that's another thing. You're supposed to be a pillar of rest to your man. All right? If he's having a rough day, hey, baby, how you doing? Let me rub your back. That's what you're supposed to do. Women have lost their femininity. The birth of feminism was the death of being feminine. The birth of feminism, which they say is the equality of the sexes, which really, the way I define it is the belief that anything a man can do, a woman can do, and even better. Because feminists, these so-called feminists, they don't have the mindset of, well, what you can do, I can do. They have the mindset of what you can do, I can do better than that. I can do bad all by myself. I don't need a man. See? He that getteth a wife begetteth a possession, a help like unto himself, and a pillar of rest. So she's supposed to be a pillar of rest. Okay? It says, the beauty of a woman cheereth the countenance, and a man, and that's true. The beauty of a woman cheereth the countenance. You see a fine woman, you know, you be having a rough day. You see her, especially if she smiles at you, you like, oh, dang. You know, you feeling all good, you know, you feeling all bubbly inside. It'll make you happy. It'll put an actual smile on your face. That's true. Especially if you got a nice looking woman at home. You get home after a rough day at work, like, and you see her, hey, baby, you know. And a man loveth nothing better. That shows you a lot of these men out here, they ain't real men. Because you have a lot of men that are into that alternative lifestyle. You know? But it says a man loves nothing better than seeing a beautiful woman. See? And a woman's value is not solely in her beauty. No, her value comes in her values. What does she know? Does she have a good head on her shoulders? Is she able to cook, clean? Is she able to listen and follow instruction? Can she raise children? These are all things that a man would look for in a woman in the ancient world. Nowadays, that's gone. That's why this world as we know it is going to be destroyed. And a new world is going to come. We're going to close out on this. 2 Peter chapter 3. In verse 11, seeing then that all these things, Esau's kingdom, Esau's society, and America, Babylon the Great, shall be dissolved with what? The missiles and the lasers from the ships. What manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? Yeah. Looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of the Heavenly Father, which is when YAHAWASHI comes back, where the heavens, being on fire from the missiles and the chariots, shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Same thing. America being destroyed, which marks the ending of Esau's kingdom. Nevertheless, we, that's the hopeful elect, according to his promise, which is found in Isaiah the 65th chapter, look for new heavens, a new rulership, and a new earth, a refreshed earth. Okay, the refreshed rulership and the refreshed earth. Same old earth, all right, but it's going to be refreshed. is going to be made new again. As good as new. And a new heaven, meaning a new rulership, a rulership ruled by Jacob, the Israelites, the righteous, wherein dwelleth righteousness. We're not going to have to see something like this take place. All right? We're not going to see this. It ain't going to be no Israelite woman named Santeria in the kingdom of heaven. That ain't going to happen. You're not going to have to worry about your daughter, being, out and about. You're not going to have to worry about that. You know what I mean by out and about. You're not going to have to worry about that. Everything's going to be restored back to its natural order in the kingdom of heaven. All praises, honors, and glories be unto YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, QADASAH. The blood of the elders, my apostles, of Great Milestone, they do and they were well. Peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the members of the elect, the afflicted, 1/3. With that being said, Shalom. RAWCHAA, Akim, the feasts that listen. Shalom.